And we are back. Live. On the magisterial gaming live stream for modernists. Christ is risen. Alma Secom. Christos Anesti. Christos Voskressi. Christos is Opgestan. Just to cover all that. It's no longer Bright Week, but we're still in the Pascha period. So, at whatever point people start jumping on this fine Tuesday evening, at whatever point you join in, feel free to begin asking questions.
I'm not judging.
Once an Avenger, always an adventure.
And or making comments. And or sub-references. And or telling outrageous lies, such as claiming that you invented the question mark.
Anybody can shoot a gun. A bow.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Hawkeye goes calling out Frank Castle right off the jump.
People always take it the wrong way.
I know exactly how you feel.
I mean, it's not my fault an Egyptian god whispers in my brain and tells me who deserves his righteous vengeance.
Okay. So maybe
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good old Krakoa map.
Got it?
One of these days,
It's now been
I
out
need
long
sit
enough to
down
be a
with
good
Brock
old
and
map.
Exchange ideas.
Indeed, he is risen.
I'm counting on you, friends.
And I will always respond that way no matter what Father Andrew says.
That was disgusting, Namor.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now. We captured the mission area!
Too late.
Double KO!
Honestly, I didn't think I could take Thor.
That's 3! A bomb of light!
Looking sharp.
Like adorable.
He's looking sharp because he uses a sword to slash. It's sharp.
Needed that boost.
See what he did there?
Here come the bad guys.
Got your back.
Namor's creatures are no longer
Their team's capture progress is past the halfway point.
So feel free to ask any and all questions. There's a patch coming out this week for the game. With some minor buffs and nerfs. And they're altering the way points are scored on the in competitive to end the support strike. Oh! Scarlet Witch.
Control lost!
We are done when I say we're done.
Spider mode! Time! They've almost done it!
I was not mean to anyone.
Never miss.
Lead them to Khonshu! Khonshu never rests.
That's good.
All wrapped up.
I'm counting on you, friends. You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner. Control seized!
Us against the world.
Disappear! So long! You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Ooh.
Perfect hit!
Becoming an Avenger was the best thing I've ever done.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
I do not have cross-platform. Now, cross-platform is automatically turned off if you're playing competitive.
Okay.
Uh,
How about we steer clear of all would-be tyrants?
So, that's a thing. But for quick play, I don't have cross-platform turned off.
4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
I like you, for now. But trust me, that could change in a heartbeat.
So I wouldn't. In general, we work from the typical, not the atypical or the extreme, right? So there's lots of examples
Thanks.
of extreme asceticism, even more extreme than that, right? Like,
The mission area is
say,
yours.
Simeon-style IDs, right? On a pole for years, you know.
Capture the mission area.
But we don't come to an understanding of asceticism or of the way of life that we should lead, especially as married people, but even people who are monastics don't come to their view of the way of life that they're called to based on those kinds of extreme examples. It's based on the more general examples, right? So, the odds that anyone on here, the magisterial live stream for us modernists, is called to that kind of life of extreme asceticism is basically nil. If that is you, you probably shouldn't be spending time watching me play video games. You should probably be getting down to business with what God has called you to do. And so I wouldn't worry too much about it. That's God at particular times does call particular people to various extreme forms of asceticism, often as sort of a witness to something that's going on at the time.
You've captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
Like you could use a hand.
No, because the other ascetics will laugh at you if you're sitting on your pillar with a tablet watching Twitch streams.
Never miss.
Beholds the god of thunder!
Can't touch this one. He knows you know where to hide.
Someone just crawled out of the ocean. Mary's almost
So in terms of the first question, things that I've had parishioners who are shocked that Roman Catholics believe, who weren't from a Roman Catholic background, they were very shocked that the Roman Catholic Church still officially teaches that unbaptized babies go to hell automatically. by virtue of not being baptized for Adam's sin. They were shocked that the Roman Catholic churches, they won't give the Eucharist to people with advanced dementia or people with severe learning disabilities and mental disabilities. Yeah, they got rid of limbo, but that doesn't really solve the problem, because what does that mean? I mean, limbo was to try to, you know, explain that by having a part of limbo of the infants, having a part of hell that wasn't, like, as hellish. Yeah. Those are just a couple of the things. In terms of out-of-body experiences,
I never miss. I can't miss.
a lot of time those are just psychological dream phenomena. Sometimes they're spiritual experience.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Something has changed in you, Ileana. You're not the innocent child I once knew.
Yeah, like, I mean,
Limbo for long enough, and they're bound
and when I've brought that up around some of the Catholic people around here who were in the know, they'll give me more examples. Like, you know, somebody whose brother
The battle starts in 5.
had a brain injury,
2,
and so
1.
none of the priests would baptize
Got
him.
it?
I was an ordinary mutant girl until my soul got put through a demonic
And would give him the Eucharist because he had a brain injury. Right? We just think of it, we tend to think of it as Orthodox people like, oh yeah, they won't give it to kids. They have like the first communion thing. Right? But
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
yeah. So I mean, out-of-body experiences are real experiences just like any other experience, right?
I'm in good shape now.
And that a person really has that experience. But
Against the world.
I don't think there's a sort of a scientific or even a spiritual explanation of it in the sense of like, well, here's precisely what is happening. Your spirit can leave your body and go to the astral plane and, you know. As much as I enjoy all that X-Men stuff with Professor X and the Shadow King.
Everybody needs a hand sometimes.
Tandy needs help.
I think that is the man of 1,000 heresies. Getting ahead of himself, because I don't think he has reached Celestial and competitive yet. So it's kind of stolen Marvel Rivals valor.
Fighters get the job done. You've captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going. Control lost.
Still breathing, still fighting.
There, ahead. I found them.
I actually think I may have 1,000 wins in Marvel Rivals. I would have to check. But I think I may actually have that. Not 1,000 wins in competitive, but 1,000 wins across all modes.
I got some unfinished business.
Leave them to Khonshu!
Can't dodge this one.
No, that's a pretty good book.
I got some unfinished business.
On mystery cults. what's good about it is that, I mean, you have to start with identifying there are mystery elements inside a lot of Greco-Roman cults, or that evolved to be part of a whole series of different cults, you know. It's hard to draw lines, because as soon as we hear the word cult, we start thinking of cult, like, in the more modern sense, so we think, like, oh, well, the mystery cults are, like, the ancient equivalent of, like, the Mormons and the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Seventh-day Adventists or whatever. And that's not how it works, right? It's elements within the cult of various pagan gods. They get introduced. Here's where they're introducing Power Man. By that I assume you're meaning Luke Cage Power Man. And, to my knowledge, not yet. They haven't announced him, at least. And I didn't see him sleeping over by Blade. So. The next character they're adding is Ultron. The Midnight Entity, in terms of what it is, it was cool to not really see it again. But I think it is I think it is on the order of, like, Cthulhu. I think it's like an elder god type of thing. And, like, that's why it knew his name and stuff. I don't see how those two thoughts are connected. The idea that our whole lives are to be Eucharistic means that our whole lives should be us offering ourselves and the work of our hands. Yeah, I assume that's the Midnight Entity they were talking about was Doctor Who, based on the last episode.
Once in a be a superhero, gotta be an optimist.
But yeah, the idea that our whole life should be Eucharistic is the idea that our whole life should be us offering ourselves and the work of our hands to God and receiving Christ himself in return. That I don't know what that has to do with songs of praise not being worship proper. That doesn't mean that everything is the Eucharist. That doesn't mean me taking out the trash is the Eucharist.
The battle starts in 5, 4.
My Hawkeye skin does not have a rat tail. He has short hair. However, I think the default skin has what kind of a short ponytail. It's like halfway between a short ponytail and a man bun. I did play that game back in the day, yes. It's been a very long time. But I played that on my Apple II GS. That's right, I had the GS. The G and the S were for graphics and sound, thank you very much. I played some even older text-based games like that on my VIC-20. I had a Commodore VIC-20 that I got when I was 6 because my dad and I were in a car accident. And he was pretty badly injured. He had a broken collarbone and some other stuff. I was not injured. And,
still breathing, still fighting. Got your back.
So my part of the settlement, I got a Commodore VIC-20. Possibly because of the William Shatner commercial. And there was a great text adventure on there called Impossible Mission that was skirting copyright. Instead of Mission Impossible. There's another one that was something about Dracula's castle that I had. It was a text-based adventure game on there. I did not play Uninvited. Speaking of MUDs, there was a period of my life where I played a ton of, like, role-playing mushes and muxes. That was a long time ago now, but there was a period of my life. When that was the sort of thing I was into because I was into that sort of thing. See, he said making the cut because he has a sword. See? And he slashed with it. So making the cut. See what he did there? I'm going to be explaining all of the Hawkeye puns tonight. Yeah, I was more into Wizardry than Ultima. The original, and I remember Wizardry 5 really well. It had like a ton of floppy disks that you had to install it from, the Apple II version. But the big ones for me were Bard's Tale 1, 2, and 3. Of that era of like RPGs, and that style of RPGs.
Hey,
90s games. What was I playing in the 90s? A lot of those Star Wars games in the early 90s, and the Wing Commander games in the early 90s I was into. Wing Commander 3 with Mark Hamill. And like X-Wing and TIE Fighter and Dark Forces and Dark Forces 2. I was big into those at that point in the early 90s.
I've got your back.
That was a headshot, ladies and gentlemen. What else did I play in the 90s? That was also a headshot, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, the first round of Doom games, I played a lot.
What am I? Invisible?
In the late 80s, I really liked the D&D Gold Box games. I don't know if everybody remembers those. Pool of Radiance and the ones that came after it. A lot of stuff in the 90s. I started, like, I was playing Tekken 2 a lot on PlayStation, the original PlayStation. I really liked the original Spider-Man PlayStation game. The Mortal Kombat games, yeah, were a given.
Shields up. There's still a chance to stop them.
Yeah, in terms of 90s stuff.
We are undefeatable.
And then once you get into the 2000s, I started playing World of Warcraft and met my wife. Yeah, Hawkeye is,
Now might be a good time to stop them.
ranged DPS, we'll put it that way. So
Hey, at least my quiver's
I
refilled.
personally thought that the last season, season 1 / season 14 / season 40, was kind of meh.
Armed and dangerous!
Now or never. Stop them.
By the eye of Agamotto!
You look like you could use a hand. I've heard dried squid is a tasty treat.
So I thought it was just kind of meh, that last season. But this season so far, the first episode also of this season was kind of meh. Very much in the vein of last season. So I was kind of But the last two episodes, episodes 2 and 3 of this season, have been really good. Of Doctor Who. So, I think we may be back. I like the new companion this season.
Help, friends.
I think it's Melinda.
Hey, at least my quiver's refilled.
Oh, sorry about that. I'll wait until I think people are clear of ads, and then I'll... If you have Amazon Prime, feel free to use the Amazon Prime sub to get rid of those. But anyway, what I was saying was, for anybody who missed it, I thought last season of Doctor Who, like season 1/14/40, was kind of meh. And when the first episode of this season came out, I felt like it also was kind of meh. It felt a lot like last season, so I was like, I don't know. But the last two episodes, episodes 2 and 3 of this season, season 2/15/41, I guess, have been really, really good. And I like the new companion more than I liked Ruby Sunday.
You stop them in their tracks.
So yeah, that's my take on current Doctor Who.
Wow, girl power. You look like you could use a hand.
Stop them in their tracks.
They were called in backup. Wow, girl power.
A little help, please. So cold.
That was disgusting, Namor. But kind of fun. No applause?
Only 60 seconds left.
Clearly, you needed some help. Feel the pulse.
My favorite Doctor. So, are we including audio dramas? Because some people may not know this, but there's a company called Big Finish that's been doing audio dramas for 25 years of Doctor Who with the original cast members. They're like radio plays. Because if we're including those, then my favorite Doctor is the 8th Doctor. But the 8th Doctor is the Doctor who appeared in the TV movie. The Fox TV movie, and then in a short for the 50th anniversary episode. And that's it. That's the only TV... Well, he was in Power of the Doctor in a cameo, too. But I mean, like, other than those kind of cameos and stuff, right? Like, he hasn't appeared in any long-form stories other than the movie. And so... But he's got seasons and seasons worth of audio dramas. And some really great ones. Like Chimes of Midnight is probably the... Chimes of Midnight is probably one of the best Doctor Who stories ever. That's an 8th Doctor audio drama. Yeah, I love radio plays in general, so I listen to The Shadow, all that kind of stuff I'm down with. But, yeah, so that's... If we count that stuff, then I'm down with the 8th Doctor is probably my favorite. If we have to go with TV, it's probably Tom Baker. Though, like, Tom Baker and David Tennant are like... They both are just sort of uniquely embody the character. So if we're going based on televised stuff. Although the 4th Doctor has a ton of audio dramas also. Tom Baker has done tons of them. Many of which are very good. And those audio dramas kind of redeemed the Sixth Doctor. Like, the Sixth Doctor's TV run was not good.
The right heroes could make all the difference.
So yeah, somebody mentioned that there's Doctor Who that's like gone. There are lost episodes because the BBC reused its videotapes. So they just recorded new stuff over old stuff. So most of the second Doctor's adventures and a good chunk of the first Doctor's adventures are lost. Now, they found some. I think the last batch they found were about 10 years ago, and that was in Ethiopia, of all places. The BBC had sent tapes there back in the 60s, and they were just like in a box at a TV station. And somebody found them. But here's the thing. There are some British nerds who did us all a favor.
I wouldn't know. I don't fight to hurt people. I fight to heal them.
Well, when I'm done here, you'll have plenty of folks to heal. Trust me.
Something tells me we should stop. The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have to stop them from securing the mission area.
So there were some British nerds who, in the 60s, during the first run of those episodes, right, audio recorded the episodes. Because, of course, people didn't have VCRs in the 60s, right? So if people wanted to come back and revisit the episodes, the BBC did novelizations. So you could go and buy the novelization of the episode, or of the story. Or people would audio record them. And so because a couple nerds audio recorded all those episodes, we have the audio of all of those lost episodes. And so the BBC over the last few years has been doing animation of the episodes based on that audio and photos that were taken on set to kind of replace some of those lost episodes in case they're never found.
Any other ox need wrecking?
And in some cases we're talking about... So Doctor Who in the 60s especially was serialized. So you had a story that would go for 5 or 6 episodes of the show, right? And so in some cases what's missing is just like one episode. Like we have 5 parts of a 6-part story. 1 part's missing, right? And so in that case, animating the one missing piece is pretty easy. In some cases, a whole story that's like 6 episodes long is gone. In one case, there's like I think it's 8 episodes. The Dalek Master Plan is missing. So those are a little harder to animate. It costs more and take more effort. They've been releasing for the past 9 years or so. They release a couple a year. They've been releasing the classic seasons of Doctor Who on Blu-ray. And when they do that, they include like those animated reconstructions and stuff. So I saw the first half of a question talking about someone saying that something was true before the King James Version, but I couldn't see the rest of the question, so post me the rest of that question and I'll... Yeah, that's the part I saw before. I need the... Pre-KJV, there was more Gen. I don't know what Gen... Oh, more general, neutral language. I don't know how linked to the KJV that is. It is true that, for example, you can find cases in Elizabethan English, even in Shakespeare, so that would make it roughly around that period, of people using they, for example, for an individual person of unknown gender. So, I mean, if you're counting that, I've heard like pro-trans narrative stuff try to make something out of that, like, oh no, see, like, whatever, but I don't know. I think that pronoun thing is kind of over. I think that's kind of 2018 now, so hopefully we can move on with our lives from it, but I don't know if that's what she was referring to. There's a lot of assumptions when people don't read Greek. They make a lot of assumptions about gender neutral or gender specific gendered language in the Bible. So, for example, there are places in the text of the scriptures that say sons of Israel and places that say children of Israel. It's not all one or the other. So the folks who are into the gender-neutral language like to change the ones that say sons of Israel to say children of Israel. But then that just obscures what the text is saying, because there are places where it says sons and places where it says children. That's probably significant, right? Like, that's something you would want to try to carry through in your English translation, I would think, if there's a distinction being made there. So that kind of thing. There's also, I mean, you're dealing with the original languages of the Bible are just constructed differently than English. And they're languages that have language gender. Right? So, like, English doesn't have language gender. Most other languages do. Most other Western languages do. Right? So, like, Spanish is gendered. You have el or la. Like, there's nothing particularly, like, feminine about a table in the sense that we use gender for human gender, right? Like, a table's a table, right? And that kind of thing, right? Or a bathroom sink is not particularly masculine in some way, right? So sometimes you get people who are so opposed to gender inclusive language that they want to try to make English translations you want to include the language gender from the original languages in English translations, which would make no sense, right? You'd be calling all kinds of inanimate objects he and she all the time, and people in English would be like, what? Right? There is a feminine plural in Hebrew and Greek that's used for groups of women, and a masculine plural that's used not just for groups of men, but for mixed groups. You use the masculine in it, right? Like, are you supposed to reflect that in English? English just has they and them. It's not gendered in English. He or she is, but they or them is not, referring to a group. So I think a lot of people get way too involved in that stuff.
Every fight I say to myself, I might go down.
30 seconds before you attack.
Left hand of darkness. Left hand.
You guys are the coolest. I always thought so. Now let's kick.
Left hand of darkness sounds really familiar, but now I'm drawing a blank.
Being able to understand animals. I wish I could do that.
Yeah, all you have to do is listen.
Oh, yeah, Ursula K. Yeah, I have. It's been a long time. I mean, I read it like in high school, but yeah.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I read a bunch of Ursula Le Guin stuff. I read all the Earthsea stuff and stuff that
Hey, I bet I could
when I was in high school.
Oh, maybe I'll ask Tony next time I see him.
Enemies on approach. Tandy needs help.
So, too unserious foul and anybody else who might be around. I will exit out after this game if somebody wants to send me an invite. You may get a special cameo appearance.
They captured the mission area.
Yeah, my dad was into just fantasy in general, not just not just Tolkien and C.S. Lewis and George MacDonald, but he had Ursula K. Le Guin. He had a lot of fantasy stuff around.
Tony's down? Oh no! Their team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
I think the ESV is just the original RSV. So I mean, I think it's basically trying to reflect the original as best it can in English. And so I think they're only using gendered language when they believe that it's deliberately being gendered in the original and not just a reflection of language gender, right? Because, I mean, in Hebrew you could say he, and that could mean it, or it could mean he, right? And so when they think it means he, they say he. When they think it means it, they use it. So I think the ESV is... I think the ESV, because it's just the RSV, has a lot less of an agenda than people think. But when the ESV first came out, then I was around the people who did this at the time. When the ESV first was released, one of the first Bibles that used the ESV translation was the Reformation Study Bible. And I, at the time, knew most of the people who wrote the notes for the ESV Study Bible, or for the Reformation Study Bible. And so a lot of people's first exposure a lot of people's first exposure to the ESV was in the context of the Reformation Study Bible, which, right, caused people to think, oh, it's Calvinist. Right? Like, and it isn't any more so than any other American Protestant translation. American Protestantism is deeply informed by Calvinism, but, like, beyond, not any more than anything else.
And all the powers of a man.
Just like you have all the powers of a squirrel and all the powers of a girl. So...
Okay, so here's a question I don't want the answer to. If I can summon an army of rodents to obey my...
So the RSV was issued by the National Council of Churches. So I don't think anyone's going to accuse the National Council of Churches of being, you know, having a Calvinist agenda, we'll put it that way.
I shouldn't have even thought it. I shouldn't have pictured it. I'm sorry for picturing it. This is my fault. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do a lap. Can I wash my brain?
Well, it's like that. Is it thing? I see how it is. I see how it is. We're being rude now.
We captured the mission area!
Yeah, I like liturgical English too, but I could live without it, right? Like, in terms of just, if you're just sitting at home, you're trying to do a quick read. And that's usually what I recommend the ESV for, is I'm like, if you're just, I'm going to read the daily gospel reading and the daily epistle reading, like, the ESV is fine.
They call me the Punisher.
Well, yes, a Calvinist would say they're being carried along by God's agenda, but...
Never miss! Bad actions! Never miss! We are done when I say we're done!
I haven't spent a lot of time with the Christian Standard Version. I've heard good things about it, that it's pretty decent, but I haven't really spent any significant amount of time. A lot of new translations, like the New Living Translation and stuff, I've heard various things about, but like,
Heads up, back guys!
by the time they were really around, I was doing my reading in the original languages, you know? I think most of the mainstream translations, not like paraphrases like the Living Bible or the Message or something, those for the most part are fine. Like I said, for just, if you're going to read the daily gospel reading, the daily epistle reading, pretty much all of those are fine. New English Bible, I don't think so. New English translation. Yeah. In terms of what happened with Pilate later, I don't remember the author. There's a really good biography of Pilate that was written by a classicist several years ago, where he sort of compiles everything we know from Roman records and everything, which isn't a ton. It's less than you'd think. Oh wait, I said I was going to leave. Let me leave. Eat my warning. See if anybody wants to invite me. Oh, see, there's your chance. Cameo on the stream. That could be it. That could be it. I would have to double check. There was another question that looked like a good question, but it zip-vied too fast for me to see it. So if you asked a question recently and I didn't respond to it, repop it through the chat. And I will do so. There's the one. Oh, yeah, so... So, yeah, that already not yet thing is basically a reformed thing. The eschatological tension between the already and the not yet.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
And
You don't want to side with Apocalypse.
I don't think it's super helpful.
But would he be worse than Khonshu? How about we
Because
stay there
it's grounded in a kind of... Oh, good, I got stuck. Oh, there we go. It's grounded in a kind of nominalism.
Starts in 5, 4, 3, 2,
You know,
1.
like imputed righteousness. Oh, you're already declared righteous, and then you actually become righteous, or what have you. Which is a whole problematic thought structure. Whereas,
What am I? Invisible?
something being an eternal reality that you as a person come to participate in, I think is a much more helpful paradigm for understanding those things. Yeah. Here's why I've been reading Nietzsche during Lent since before I was Orthodox. Part of it, honestly, is that I kind of like Nietzsche. He's a friend of mine. A very troubled friend. Not a happy, well-adjusted friend. But the biggest part of it is... yes, he's one of my 19th century German friends.
I assure you I took no pleasure in that.
Anyone willing to help?
So,
Just what the doctor ordered. An army.
I'll do my best to
So, I think my general bent, I mean, I'm a guy who's working on his second PhD. I tend to get lost in my own head and you know, I, like a lot of people who listen to Lord of Spirits, struggle to kill Plato brain. So I think it helps me. You need to crucify your intellect sometimes during Lent. You need to realize that maybe you're not so sure
Reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
If the king wants his statue, we're gonna deliver.
of the things that you think you're sure of. Yeah, that's why I read Nietzsche during Lent, because he's good for that. He's all those things you think you're sure about and think you know. Maybe you don't know, and maybe you aren't so sure, and maybe, you know, your rationality that you put so much stock in isn't all it's cracked up to be. Which is helpful to me during Lent. So that's why I read Nietzsche during Lent, and have for decades now. Like 30 years now. Tremble me. Numbers is not giving instructions for an abortion. So there was, if you have a library available to you, or I think if you go online, you can probably find a place to read it for free. The Christian Bioethics Journal, that's published by Oxford University Press. I'm on the editorial board, and I guess I could say we, since I'm on the editorial board. We published, ooh, fancy lad. We published an article about that beginning of last year on that passage in Numbers and what's going on there. So you can read that to find out more about that. I didn't write it, but. So I got the picture that there was a long question from the person who's not a Christian that I missed most of. So if that person wants to repost the latter portion of it, yeah, what comes up on my screen is like, congrats on MVP to our special guest star. Well, that was easy to find. Holy cow. Okay. Yeah, I only get like the first chunk. I only get like the first 4 lines or so on my screen, the way I'm doing this. Yeah, I mean, it may just be a very involved thing that this isn't the best medium for. If you want to send me an email and identify yourself as a as the person from my stream, I'll pay attention to it.
Or villain, I'm not judging.
Once an Avenger, always an Avenger.
You can send it to lordofspirits@ancientfaith.com. That's easy to remember. That gets forwarded to me. And just say you're the person with the question from my stream, and then I'll actually read it.
I never miss. I can't miss.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
When it starts, follow my lead. Any questions?
Yeah, the part I'm following.
Clint, good to know you're still a rebel deep down.
Oh yeah, that's not the Orthodox conception, but giving sort of a full-fledged answer to that, email will be better.
starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Sorcery and deception always defeat the clenched fist.
Watch out, they're headed our way!
Sonic boom!
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
Endless fury.
Mission area is yours.
But yeah, so my number of kills that last game is why I don't play competitive while I'm doing these streams.
Just what the doc going.
Your back.
I'll bet this is moon doing. Tell Conchu to stand down, soldier.
I can't resist going after Captain America.
Let's
It's a
try
whole
this
East Coast,
again.
West Coast feud thing. Gotta stand up for the West Side.
We have to start first.
Just what the doc going.
Got your back. You've captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
I got this on taken care of. See, Clint? I knew you cared.
So it scrolled too fast. Something about Job's children. I will get that one. Oh! Oh, now he's mad at me. Just because I started an East Coast, West Coast feud.
Almost yours.
I think I twisted my shoulder.
Oh, Job's second set of children were new people. The first set of children will be resurrected like Job on the last day. But
You'll have to keep fighting until we have
so Battlestar Galactica, yes, is heavily influenced by Mormonism. And that's, you know, yes, it's the Lords of Kobol instead of
How
Kolob,
much they meant to me.
right? They're on it's their journey to try and find Earth is supposed to be like the Mormons heading to Utah. Like, it's
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Hey, Hawkeye, you gonna save the world?
We better.
Yeah, like that enthusiasm.
so yeah.
We'll do this the same way we always do. Together.
Yes, the Kolob thing is real.
4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
All right. If anyone needs me, I'll be in my iceberg. That was a joke.
So,
You know.
the church has renewed Israel isn't full of aliens and sojourners. The original Israel was primarily members of the northern tribes. The northern tribes were dispersed among the Gentiles. Northern tribes were reconstituted from the Gentiles.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
We might actually need Loki.
You get away! You get away! You get away! Once I get you done, game over.
Making the cut.
Willing to help?
Martin, try harder. That's the boost I needed.
It's me again.
Mission area is
Oh, the parable of the manager. Yeah, the shrewd manager who basically rips off his. Yeah, so that's the parable, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but where Christ talks about the guy who he knows he's going to get fired by his boss, so he cancels the debt of a whole bunch of his boss's creditors, so they'll be grateful to him, and once he gets fired, he'll be in good with them. And Christ sort of, it's unclear whether he's actually praising that behavior or just saying his disciples should be like that in some regard. And I think the regard he's talking about is whenever you see the forgiveness of debts like that, it's 99.999% of the time, it's actually talking about sin, right? It's talking about forgiving people's sins, and therefore by putting yourself in good stead when the day of judgment comes. We tend to think of the day of judgment in very individualistic terms, right? It's just going to be you standing for God, and you're going to have to answer for your stuff, and nobody's going to be able to help you, etc., etc., etc. But that's not necessarily the case. We're all going to be standing there together. And if you've forgiven the debts of the people who are there with you, standing with you and standing alongside you before God, and you're asking God to forgive you your debts, then that will put you in much better stead. Right? So this is yet another parable where Christ is talking about the intimate connection, really the identity between us forgiving others and us receiving forgiveness ourselves.
another epic victory. Big win.
Yeah, it sounds like an interesting book. Although, there's several things you got to be careful of when you talk about any book that's talking about
Pick your hero.
those kind of esoteric Jewish monastic traditions, in that a lot of them are going to be taking a lot of stuff from the Kabbalah very literally. In terms of how old it is. And I think there's a lot in the Kabbalah that's not as old as it claims to be. And yeah, that usually gets parlayed with some Jewish Gnostic groups. And it also gets parlayed together with
Get ready.
Jeff, so glad I found you, little guy. Kate's been worried sick. Where have you been, anyway?
the way some Roman Catholic scholars have tried to cast the Qumran community as a monastic community. All of which are a little bit dubious.
The battle starts in 5.
Or I should put it this way.
3,
any of which is questionable. You can question any of those three things. And so when you roll those three things together to form your theories, you end up with a theory that's possible, but hard to be kind of confident in.
Destroyed that Ankh. I hope I'm not cursed now. Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now. The mission area is yours. Another one for us.
'Tis best to destroy these Ankhs if there is time.
Well, so
That was close.
yeah, so the self-defense thing. So, as an Orthodox priest, if you're Orthodox clergy,
Whoever they are.
if you take a human life in any way, you can no longer serve at the altar.
Careful, Anang. There might be others.
And that includes not just in self-defense. That includes, like, in a car accident. You're in a car accident and someone's killed. You can't serve an altar anymore.
You've captured more than half.
That's one of the
mission area.
rules.
Keep going. Control lost.
And so, because of that, functionally, a lot, if not most, Orthodox priests have essentially elected for a kind of pacifism. In that, you know, most forms of self-defense, frankly, are based around potentially killing someone. Like, you don't get a gun for self-defense and then plan to, like, wound your opponent, right? That's not how that works. You get a gun and you're going to use it as a weapon to take someone's life. And so, as a priest, that kind of means you can't bear arms, right? And expect to continue to serve at altar and serve as a priest. So, yeah.
Against the world.
So, I don't know that you would get, if you physically fought back, right? Like someone was going to mug you and you punched them out. I don't know that that is something for which you would receive some kind of ecclesiastical discipline. Right, like,
A pretty good team. You look like you could use a hand.
so, and I know there are priests who practice things like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like as a sport, and that kind of thing, so there's not like a problem with that, per se. Right.
There's an ox stronger.
So I missed whatever that last question was.
I require some aid.
You look like you could
But yeah, so that's the self-defense thing. Killing someone in self-defense for a layperson would also be penanced in the sense that it would be dealt with in confession. The same way somebody who takes a life in war is dealt with in confession. It's not a question of is something a sin or not. It's a question of if you take a human life, there are things spiritually you're going to need to deal with and talk about and work through. Right? And so
I never miss. I can't miss.
we get a little too hung up, I think, on what's a sin and what's not, rather than just talk about the reality. Right? If someone's a veteran and they've taken a life in war,
30 seconds before
it doesn't matter if you tell them, okay, it wasn't technically a sin. They have things they need to talk about.
Peter, have you...
Well, if someone is
doing the right thing?
explicitly coming after you for being a Christian, then the Orthodox Church teaches you should go to your martyrdom and you should not fight back.
responsibility. So Someone has to stand up to all the bullies out there.
The battle starts in 5, 4.
So I personally think the naked figure in Mark 14, the guy just wearing the linen, the first streaker in Jerusalem, I think that's Saint Mark himself. I think that's Saint John Mark. And he's just sort of being humble and not identifying himself, sort of the way Saint John does when he refers to himself as the disciple whom Jesus loved. There was a thing in the 19th century where a guy claimed he had found the secret Gospel of Mark at a monastery in the Middle East that had extra passages. And those extra passages said that naked figure was actually Lazarus, who otherwise does not appear in the canonical Gospel of Mark. St. Lazarus only appears in St. John's Gospel. But identified it as Lazarus, and then seemed to have some kind of esoteric teachings on this. But it turned out, so a lot of people thought, oh, is this a Gnostic gospel? Is this something else? What is it? Turned out it was just a hoax. It was just straight up bogus. Made up by there were a lot of British adventurers in the Palestinian protectorate, British protectorate at that time.
Here comes trouble.
Yeah, and that fits with St. Mark having been very young at that time.
The moon haunts you.
Capture half of the mission area. Keep going.
Against the world.
Yeah, so I've had Korean friends who study Taekwondo, and like, they're not there studying Taekwondo to learn how to kill people. Like, that's not the purpose, right, of the thing, right? Like, that's not at all what's in view.
Be right there.
You get away with it. You get away.
Never
You
miss.
get away.
Heads up, the bad guys.
Double KO. Perfect hit. Control C.
Sorry, Wanda, I made you waste your ultimate.
Some sort of ancient ankh? Here is almost yours. Fire mode. Perfect hit, fighter. We lost their shield.
An enchanted object.
Whatever that ankh was, it's gone. Another epic
Yeah, so
big win.
the policy that affects my parish is no one is supposed to be carrying firearms within the church. There's actually a canon about that, about not having weapons in church. So, but that's, I know different bishops have different policies. So, you know, and I am not a bishop, so my opinion on that does not matter all that much. If at all. But, yeah, that's our thing. So the turning the other cheek
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
is about not seeking revenge,
Always an adventure.
right? So the which you should not seek revenge, right? But Israel, for example, was allowed to fight defensive wars in Deuteronomy 10. right? So that's different, right? You can go to war out of vengeance.
Anybody can shoot a gun.
That's prohibited by Deuteronomy, chapter 10. Prohibited by Christ. But defending your nation when it's invaded by a hostile
Hawkeye,
enemy
the world?
is
I
not
like that enthusiasm.
forbidden by God's commandments.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
This fantastic mess we've got ourselves into, huh?
I got your back.
Needed that much.
Cosmos heals me, apparently.
Looking sharp. Punching a hole.
Man, this magic is a problem.
It's me again.
I probably will stream other games in the future when I'm playing other stuff. Yeah, I know there have been a bunch of times where we talked about original sin and original guilt. The next game I might stream, Mortal Kombat 1 has had some new stuff come out, but nothing that's really called me back to it. But I kind of want to go back and do another playthrough of Alan Wake 2. So I might stream that at some point. And when Control 2 comes out, I'll probably do a stream of that too.
Got some unfinished business.
But Marvel Rivals keeps having new stuff come out and everything, so.
Needed that Spider-Man gone? That hurts.
Yes, I have watched those DC movies.
Frank.
Second chance.
I was actually surprised how much I liked the Crisis adaptation.
Your powers are mine!
That vehicle to its destination.
Heads up, hostiles.
Behold! Behold!
It's 3 parts, but I also thought the like rotoscope animated Watchmen adaptation was pretty
We are
decent.
done when I say we're done.
I'll cover you.
Let's know where the
That's what the doctor ordered.
You are the one with the eyes of the hawk that Thor speaks of. I am friends with the eagle who sits atop the world tree.
Hate to break it to you, but Hawkeye is just a code name. But I bet my pal Sam would love to meet your bird bud. Some assistance.
Frank's gone full turret mode.
That came in handy.
No one who knows anything about guns will tell you to carry a gun as a deterrent that you're not planning on using.
This should be a walk in the park.
Never miss.
Almost there. Don't turn back now.
Can't dodge this one. Nowhere to hide. Judge, jury.
Gotta admit, gets things done.
It's me again.
The vehicle reached a
Just having a gun as a deterrent like that can escalate situations that you don't want to escalate.
I am Groot!
Rise, my friends.
Yeah, I was just talking. Well, there may have been a commercial or something. I never know when people are getting knocked out of hearing me. I did see the 3-part Crisis on Infinite Earths adaptation. I was surprised at how good it was, actually.
I got behind you.
Us against the world.
Yeah, I liked how they adapted it because they structured each of the 3 movies as a sort of complete story. And when you watch all 3 of them, you sort of get the bigger picture.
I got your back.
Because that's a hard story to adapt, because Crisis on Infinite Earths wasn't really one story. It was a whole series of stories about different characters. So I felt like the way they adapted it there was kind of the best way to do it. And yes, if you have seen it, and you tell me you didn't miss up a little bit at Kevin Conroy's final dialogue as Batman in that, I call you a liar.
So close. This is your big chance.
Quantum magic.
This should be a walk in the park. Just the idiots I was looking for.
Take your best shot.
I mean, I have no feelings, and I missed it up a little bit at that moment. So,
Hey, at least my quiver's refilled.
Marvel comics for people who have never read them. Are there any characters you already like or are interested in,
Judge,
based on
jury,
movies or like this game or TV shows or anything?
Double KO.
This mission wasn't weird enough already. Never miss. Us against the world.
born again!
This time I need healing.
Yeah, if you're interested in Iron Man and Captain America,
Look out for the enormous weapon of mass
and I don't know how much money you want to spend off the bat, but there's a series of omnibuses. Omnibuses are like big hardcover books. Like if you're into Captain America, there's a couple Captain America by Mark Grunwald that are great classic stories. If you're interested in Spider-Man, there's a Spider-Man Brand New Day Volume 1 omnibus that's great. That's a great place you could just jump in. So there's a bunch of good places depending on character. The X-Men continuity gets pretty confusing. So it's a harder jump in. If you're talking about like comics that are currently coming out, like Ryan North's Fantastic Four is really awesome. And it's like 1 and 2 issue stories. They're just like fun science adventure stories. That's a good way to go Marvel-wise in terms of stuff coming out right now on the stands. So that helps you. Okay, so this is going to be my last game, which means the first character I see, other than Spider-Man, in the chat will be the character I play. Okay, I am playing Adam Warlock. You can't play
Pick
Blade.
Your hero or villain. I'm not judging.
I don't know how this will go, but I will play Adam Warlock.
I will bring peace to this universe, no matter the cost. Perfection is unattainable, but that should not
30
stop us
seconds
from
before you
trying to
attack.
achieve it.
Get ready.
I've heard you have a background in computer science. Is that correct?
Oh, me? Yeah, actually, I do. Why do you ask, Mr. F?
Have you ever considered using those talents to save the universe instead?
I mean, sure, but then I remember that Thanos with the help of his... The battle starts in 5, 4, 3,
Potentially magic, but not really.
all you need
Just
to
'cause
do
she's
is capture the
Russian.
mission area. Got it?
The greatest Orthodox Marvel character is Beast, because there is an alternate timeline in which Beast is actually the patriarch of the mutant homeland. The Orthodox, explicitly the Orthodox patriarch of the mutant homeland.
A shield.
The mission area is yours to capture now.
Yes, look up Patriarch Beast.
Capture the mission area.
Healing power. Some assistance, please. There's still so much to do.
Enemy ahead of us.
Now, there's a bunch of stuff for Nightcrawler in the files, so Nightcrawler's coming soon. Nightcrawler is actually a Catholic priest. Well, Black Widow is hypothetically Eastern Orthodox.
There's still so much to do.
So in the comics,
Their team's captured
if we assume
progress
this is
has
the
passed halfway
mainstream comic book version, then technically she is the last surviving member of the Romanov dynasty. So yes, technically Orthodox, even though she hasn't been depicted at all as being religious in the comics.
This time I need healing.
Double KO.
I have risen.
They've almost got it.
I feel like Unserious Foul's back is hurting right now as he tries to carry this team.
Behold the god of thunder! born again!
Plasma?
Healing power.
Suppose that happens. Alert! Protector shield destroyed.
Limbo stands with you! Us against the world! Go have fun.
Leave them to Khonshu!
Quantum magic.
I require...
Dude, this store is just like committed to making me dead.
Double KO!
I have risen.
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Probably should have got out on the last game, I'm starting to think. But we'll see what happens here. The thing I dislike most about Adam Warlock is that he has, like, no movement abilities.
You've captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going. My minion.
There's still so much to do.
So, Incorrupt relics are kind of a mystery in the sense that, you know, not all of the saints are incorrupt at all. Some of them are incorrupt, and some of them have certain incorrupt body parts.
Assistance, please. We are in this together.
But usually, the lack of corruption is something that God provides as a miracle. Usually to help us identify the sanctity of that person. Right. So, this is why the Orthodox Church, we talk about recognizing saints more than we talk about, right, like declaring saints or making someone a saint.
Quantum magic.
You made me do this.
Ah.
I am at your service.
Watch out there,
I have risen.
So, venerating with your forehead is actually primarily a, well, I should say primarily. It is more common among the Oriental Orthodox.
Don't mess with the amazing
And it's
Spider-Man!
just another tradition, right? Putting your head on it instead of kissing. But there are a lot of people from the Middle East who are Orthodox who also do it. Sometimes they'll kiss it and then do it. And then put their forehead on it.
Where there is evil in this universe, I will be there to balance it.
Seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Yeah, so it's just a traditional thing they've picked up
What is it that you
somewhere.
seek here, Dr. Richards?
The same as always, Adam. A universal truth that can unite us all and bring an end to this madness.
I see. Be wary, my friend. Blind faith in anything, even science, often leads to catastrophic consequences.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture.
We have a
the mission
rocket.
area.
There's another support. The rocket could heal better than me, maybe.
On Earth was ahead of its time, but this.
Oh, St. Mary Magdalene?
Assistance, please.
Her relics were at Ephesus.
A shield. How nice.
And so that's a case where someone severed and took her hand. And so the hand remained incorrupt. The hand that was stolen and taken remained incorrupt. That's probably partially as a sign of judgment against the person who took it.
Born anew.
Born again!
Yeah, Meredith Klein's stuff is worth reading. I had him as a professor. Obviously he's not Orthodox. He was Reformed. He was a Calvinist, but of a sort.
Behold the god of thunder!
He was, you know, an Old Testament scholar, and so he's got a lot of good stuff. Kingdom Prologue has good stuff about Genesis 1 through. Now, I'm not endorsing everything in it. But Treaty of the Great King on the structure of Deuteronomy is really good.
Control seized.
So yeah, Meredith Klein's stuff is worth. Yeah, he was in his 90s when I had him as a professor, and so we used to joke that the reason he knew so much about the Old Testament is that he was there for part of it.
You look tired.
And he was a very physically short.
I have found more lost quantum magic.
My step.
Ah, this Thor. I'd be doing way better healing this group if I didn't have this Thor like all over me.
Born again!
Some sisters' second chance is over. I hope you could not feel their pain.
Mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Yeah, Meredith Klein was a very physically small guy, and in his 90s, and so he also said he was sort of the biblical Yoda.
Friends, gather around. You needed some help, didn't you? Our enemies are here.
My power grows!
Kind of vulnerable.
I have not read either of those, so I don't have a strong opinion to give you on that.
You are safe now, my friend.
Haha, Thor's dead and I am alive.
This shield will serve me well. I require some aid.
You'll have to keep taking until we have a winner. Control lost.
Destiny awaits.
I don't know. If we manage to turn this around and pull out a win, it'll be a great one to end the stream on. Whether that happens remains to be seen.
The god of thunder!
Count on that.
Healing power. We are in this together.
Some my step.
Born again!
The cosmos heals you.
Behold, that child!
Cosmic might
You'll have to keep
return.
fighting until we have a winner.
Power. Our foes
Areas
have
of
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
the cosmos heals you.
I was trying. Come and freeze.
Born
my step.
I require some aid.
Down.
Hey, we won that round. See, this could end up being a very good game to end the stream on. Potentially here.
In a world consumed by darkness, I will gladly be the light.
"30 seconds before you attack. Get ready."
Reality is ending, yet you remain calm and serene. How?
I have peered into the infinite void. There is nothing to fear.
If only we all could find such peace in the face of potential annihilation.
You shall soon enough, one way or another.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
T'Challa built an empire? We can
So, favorite series of Doctor Who, meaning season for Americans.
This shield will serve me well. Your souls united.
Some
assistance, please. Healing power.
Honestly, the first season of New Doctor Who may still be my favorite, the Eccleston season. Now, Eccleston has done a bunch of seasons of audio dramas now.
This shield will serve me well. You are safe now, my friend.
Our efforts deserve praise.
Pretty sure those are bad guys.
So that's probably of New Doctor Who. That's probably my favorite season. A classic Doctor Who, probably season 14, which is a Tom Baker season.
I am Asgard's might.
Second Temple Judaism. So
I have risen.
the Jewish understanding, right, was that giving
Don't mess with the amazing
the Torah
They come to kick us out.
to Israel is what God did to allow them to keep Torah, right? Like revealing it to them through Moses.
Quantum magic.
Mission area. Keep going.
And there were, because of course what Deuteronomy says, you know, what you need to do is not far from you, it is in your mouth and on your heart, right, to do what you need to do. And St. Paul quotes that affirmatively. Contra, you know, Lutheranism, etc. St. Paul quotes that and says, no, it is dear to you and on your heart to be faithful to God in Jesus Christ, right? This isn't more than you can do.
Born again.
Right. And then, yes, the Old Covenant didn't go so swell. Right? So it isn't panned out historically. Israel did not do it. And so what God promises in Jeremiah and Ezekiel is going to be different. Grats on Serious Foul. Is going to be different in the New Covenant. Is that God is going to be dwelling within them in the form of placing His Spirit within them. He's going to essentially keep the Torah through them, right? And in them. And so it's not going to be sort of up to them in the same way. I didn't do too horribly for playing a character I don't know how to play. I was operating purely on my general game knowledge. But yeah, I think a serious foul was carrying hard there, based on the stats. Although Spider-Man was doing a yeoman's job too, as was Emma Frost. So no, that wasn't too much of a carry. That wasn't too much of a carry. Other than the whole team carrying me not knowing how to play this character. So okay, that's a win. So I'm going to end the stream. Thank you, everybody. I may stream again on Thursday. I don't know for sure. We'll see what happens. But it is possible.